Welcome to Pink Blade.
Here, we don't just watch stories.
We step inside them.
Today, we're diving deep into Bridgerton Season 3, Episode 8.
And wow, what an episode to end on. We're talking about the finale, Into the Light.
Yeah.
And if you've been on this journey all season, you know the last few episodes they were about the romance, the secret glances, the carriage scene.
Very much so. But
Yeah.
this just flips the entire board.
It really does. It feels different right from the opening shot. Usually with these romance finales, I feel like I'm conditioned to expect a certain kind of rhythm.
Sure.
You know, we're waiting for the big final kiss, the wedding bells, maybe some tiny misunderstanding that gets cleared up in like 10 minutes.
And we do get the wedding here eventually,
Yeah.
but the atmosphere of it all.
It felt heavy.
Heavy is the perfect word. The stakes felt incredibly physical, almost dangerous.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the usual will they or won't they kind of tension.
Yeah.
It was will they survive this? Which sounds so dramatic for a show about, ball gowns in high society, but watching it, I completely believed it.
You believed it because this show does something very specific with the world itself in this episode. To really get why this finale lands so hard, we have to look at the social world these characters are in right at this specific moment.
Okay.
We aren't just looking at London's high society as this sort of playground for courtship anymore.
It's usually presented as a bit of a game, isn't it? The balls, the dance cards, who's the diamond?
Exactly. A game, a very serious game with winners and losers for sure, but still a game. In episode 8, that playground becomes a minefield.
Minefield.
I was looking at a few different sources on this, and they all point to this massive atmospheric shift. For 3 seasons, the social hierarchy, the entire power structure of this world, has been dictated by one voice.
Lady Whistledown.
Right, the anonymous narrator. And up until this point, for us as the audience, and even for a lot of the characters, Whistledown has been, it's been entertainment.
It's just gossip.
It's gossip. It's biting. It's smart. It's funny. We've been in on the secret that it's Penelope Featherington behind the quill. So we've almost been rooting for her.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a power fantasy, hasn't it? The quiet wallflower who secretly runs the entire town.
But in this episode, that narration, that fantasy, it stops being fun. It becomes a weapon. And I don't just mean a weapon for, like, social embarrassment.
Yo.
I mean a weapon capable of total social erasure. The air in the ton isn't just gossipy anymore. It feels suffocating. The secret is out. Or at least it's out to the one person who can do the most damage.
You're talking about Cressida Cowper.
I am.
Yeah.
And we really need to sit with this blackmail plot for a minute because it is the engine driving every single bit of panic in this episode.
It's so easy to just write Cressida off as the mean girl of the series, but her threat here, it feels like it goes so far beyond just petty rivalry.
It's existential.
Yeah.
The sources really emphasize this shift for Penelope. She's gone from trying to find a husband to just trying to survive.
It's pure survival mode.
Cressida isn't playing games. She demands 10,000 pounds.
Okay, I need a fact check on this. Because in a modern context, 10,000 pounds, I mean, it's a lot of money, but for a wealthy family like the Bridgertons, it seems manageable. What does that number actually mean in the Regency era?
It's an absolutely astronomical sum.
Really?
To put it in perspective for you, a gentleman could live a very comfortable life. We're talking a house, staff, a carriage, good food, on maybe 2,000 pounds a year.
Wow.
10,000 pounds is buy a massive country estate and never work another day in your life. Money. It's a life-changing generational wealth.
So when Cressida asks for that, she is basically asking for the entirety of Penelope's fortune that she's built up over the years?
She's trying to drain her completely dry.
Mm.
But the sources point out something really crucial about this demand. It's not just about greed.
Oh.
For Cressida, that money represents freedom. She's facing this horrible forced marriage to an old man, or being exiled to the countryside with absolutely no agency. She sees that 10,000 pounds as her only way out.
That's a really interesting parallel, actually. Both of them are trapped by their circumstances.
Precisely. But for Penelope, the stakes are, you could argue, even higher. If she doesn't pay, or if this secret comes out in the wrong way, she isn't just facing a quiet life in the country.
No, she's facing the complete annihilation of her new marriage to Colin.
And the destruction of her family's standing. Everything.
It's funny you mention the marriage because that's the other huge pillar of stress here. Penelope isn't just fighting Cressida. It feels like she's fighting a war inside her own head and inside her own home.
This is where some of the more academic analysis gets really interesting. There's a thesis I was reading that looks at Penelope's journey through the lens of Jungian psychology.
Jungian psychology and a Bridgerton deep dive. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Stick with me, because it actually fits perfectly. So Carl Jung had this concept of the shadow self.
Okay, break that down for me.
So, according to Jung, we all have what's called a persona. That's the mask we wear for the world. It's our public face. For Penelope, that's the sweet, quiet, agreeable wallflower, the soon-to-be Mrs. Bridgerton.
The one who smiles and stands by the wall and doesn't make a fuss.
Right. But then we all have the shadow, and the shadow is made up of all the parts of ourselves that we hide or repress because we think they're not acceptable.
Like what?
The ambition, the anger, the sharp wit, the judgment, the power. For Penelope, her shadow isn't just some abstract concept. She literally gave her shadow a name.
Lady Whistledown.
Lady Whistledown. Oh, that's fascinating. So Whistledown is just her repressed personality finally letting loose. She is the witty, powerful, biting, successful business mogul that Penelope Featherington is never, ever allowed to be in public. And for 3 seasons, she's kept them totally separate. She puts on the persona during the day, and she lets the shadow out at night with her quill.
But now Cressida is forcing them into the same room at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. The stakes in this episode become deeply psychological. The real question isn't just, can she get the money? It's, can she integrate that shadow with her persona? Can she finally admit that she is both the sweet wife and the ruthless writer?
Or will one destroy the other?
Will the shadow destroy the life she's so desperately wanted and finally built?
It's an identity crisis with a ticking clock, and standing right in the middle of this collision looking very confused is Colin Bridgerton.
Poor Colin.
I mean, he is having a very, very rough week.
A very rough week. And looking at some of the reviews, especially one from Fangirlish, they describe him as building these impenetrable walls.
He did seem very cold.
Yeah.
Very distant and shut down.
And it all stems from a crisis of masculinity.
Is that what it is? Because I'll be honest, at times it just felt like he was sulking.
Well, think about the era, and think about his specific role in his family. He's the 3rd son. He doesn't have a title to inherit like Anthony. He's not an artist like Benedict. He spent years trying to find his purpose. You know, traveling, writing his little journals.
Trying to be a man of substance.
Exactly. He defines his value in this new marriage by his ability to protect Penelope. He wants to be the provider, the hero.
The classic white knight.
The white knight.
Yeah.
But just look at the reality of their situation. Penelope is wealthy. She made her own fortune. She is famous. Everyone in their world reads her work. And she is intellectually formidable. She does not need his money.
So he feels, what, redundant?
He feels useless.
Yeah.
Inadequate. The sources note that he desperately wants to be her savior, but he literally cannot save his wife in the traditional way. He can't duel a rumor. He can't shoot a scandal sheep.
So the stake for him isn't physical safety, it's his ego. It's his entire definition of what love and marriage are supposed to look like.
If he can't be her protector, what is his role in her life? That's the question that is just haunting him throughout this entire episode.
And just to make sure that no one in the audience can take a single breath for a full hour, we also have the Featherington family drama happening at the exact same time.
It creates this perfect parallel pressure cooker. It's not just the Whistledown drama. Portia Featherington, Penelope's mother, is facing the exposure of her own massive, massive secret.
The inheritance scheme.
Right. The whole reason they have their title and their house and their place in society right now is based on a complete lie about the firstborn grandson inheriting the estate. It's fraud.
So to just recap the state of the board here, Penelope is about to be exposed as a gossip monger and possibly ruined. Portia is about to be exposed as a fraudster and definitely ruined. And Colin is about to implode from a crisis of masculinity because he can't fix any of it.
That is the powder keg. And that is why this episode works so incredibly well as a turning point. In lesser show, these would all be 3 separate subplots. Here, they're all tangled up in the same problem. The truth is coming for everyone.
Which brings us to the big pivot, because normally in these Regency romances, this is the part where the Duke or the Viscount just swoops in, throws a bag of money at the villain, and then everyone goes to a nice ball.
The classic damsel in distress resolution. We know it well. We usually crave it even.
But this episode, it takes that trope and it just completely inverts it.
It does. And that inversion is the most critical narrative hook of the entire season. Colin actually tries to play the traditional hero. Do you remember his visit to Cressida's house?
Vaguely. He goes over there, right? He's all puffed up.
He puts on his best Bridgerton coat. He marches over to Cressida Capper's drawing room, and he tries to handle it. He uses his charm, he uses logic, he uses his status as a Bridgerton man to try and negotiate her down.
And how does that go for him?
Disaster. An
Yeah.
absolute, unmitigated disaster.
Why does he fail so badly? I mean, usually the Bridgerton charm is like a superpower in this world.
Because he completely misread his opponent. The sources point out that his attempt to pay her off to solve the problem, it actually backfires spectacularly.
Wow.
Cressida looks at him, his desperate, handsome husband trying to save his new wife, and she has this realization, oh wait, if he's here, if a Bridgerton is this worried, this secret must be worth way more than I thought.
So he accidentally validates the blackmail.
He inflates the value of the commodity he's trying to buy back. She doubles the demand. She goes from 10,000 to 20,000 pounds.
20,000. Okay, that's not buy a small country money.
That's impossible money. It's ruinous money. And this failure is the hook, because it forces the story into completely uncharted territory. If the man cannot save the woman, what happens next?
She has to save herself.
Precisely. The whole narrative pivots in that moment. Penelope realizes that waiting for a man to fix this, even a man she loves, even a man who desperately wants to help, is a dead end. She has to own her power. She has to stop hiding behind her husband's protection.
The academic thesis you mentioned uses a specific Latin term for this, right?
Yes, renovatio.
Renovatio sounds kind of religious.
It means rebirth or renewal.
Hmm.
And it implies that this isn't just an ending to a season, it's a metamorphosis. It's no accident the title of the episode is Into the Light. That functions on a literal and a metaphorical level.
Okay, the literal part is easy. We see them stepping into the sun at the end, and we have to talk about the lighting later because the fans went absolutely crazy over that. But metaphorically...
Metaphorically, every major character stops hiding. All of them. Penelope obviously steps out of the shadows of anonymity. She stops being the wallflower.
And what about Colin? Does he get a renovatio?
He does, but his is much more internal. He steps out of the shadow of his charm. He stops being the easygoing, people-pleasing third son, the guy who uses a fake personality to get by. He has to face real vulnerability. He has to face the fact that he is envious of his own wife.
Ooh, the envy. We definitely have to dig into that. That feels like a very modern, very complex emotion for a period piece like this.
It's incredibly human. And even Courtship Featherington. She steps out of her long-held role as the wicked mother. She steps into the light as an ally for her daughter. So the episode works because it forces every single character to drop their masks.
Okay, so let's deep dive into the scenes where those masks actually come off. Because looking at our notes, there are 3 specific moments where the acting and the writing just, they hit a peak.
Where do you want to start?
We have to start with the modista scene. Colin and Penelope, outside the dressmaker shop.
A pivotal moment.
So this is right after the blackmail situation has completely spiraled. Colin has failed with Cressida. He's probably feeling humiliated, angry, helpless, and they are standing on a public street.
The setup here is so crucial. Usually in this genre, this would be a scene of an angry husband scolding a reckless wife. How could you do this? You've ruined us. Or it would be a wife begging for forgiveness. I'm so sorry. Please save me.
But the energy is completely different from that.
It's a partnership negotiation. This is the moment the dynamic of their entire relationship shifts for good.
The dialogue here is just so sharp. Penelope tells him, flat out, I do not need you to save me. I need you to stand by me.
That distinction is everything. Stand by me. The Reddit threads that we're discussing this episode, they identified this as one of the hottest scenes of the whole season. And it's not because of anything explicit.
No, they're fully clothed, standing on a sidewalk in the middle of the day.
It's hot because of the intellectual intimacy.
Intellectual intimacy. I really like that phrase. It's like they are finally treating each other as equals.
It's the friction between his protective instinct, which is valid, he loves her, and her desperate need for agency. One of the reviews I read noted that by trying to fix it himself earlier, Colin was inadvertently leaving Penelope without a voice. He was doing exactly what society does to women, silencing them for their own good.
And this scene is her reclaiming that voice. She's essentially saying, I made this mess. I built this empire. I will be the one to handle it. I just need you to hold my hand while I do.
Exactly. She is asserting her competence. And for Colin, that has to be terrifying and alluring all at the same time. He has to learn that supporting her doesn't mean controlling the outcome for her.
It's a huge step for him. But if we are talking about massive steps in relationships, we have to pivot to The mother-daughter reconciliation.
The Portia and Penelope scene.
Yes. Honestly, this might have been the true emotional core of the episode for me, because we kind of expect Colin to come around eventually. He's the romantic lead, that's his job. But Portia has been the antagonist for 3 seasons.
She absolutely has. And the setup here is that Portia finally discovers the truth. She figures out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. Based on 3 full seasons of her behavior, what do we expect her to do?
Explode, scream at her, throw her out of the house, or maybe try to steal the money for herself.
Exactly. We expect rejection or exploitation, but instead what we get is alignment.
It's jarring in the best possible way.
It forces us, as an audience, to completely recontextualize everything we thought we knew about Portia's bad parenting. In this scene, Portia admits that she was cruel. She owns it. But she finally explains why.
She says she was trying to prepare them for the world, right?
She was trying to armor them. She explains that in a world where women have 0 legal power and no reliable male protection, the only way to survive is to be ruthless. She wasn't being mean for sport. She was running a survival camp for her daughters.
And then there's that moment, the my girl moment.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Portia looks at Penelope, the daughter she ignored, the one she probably thought was weak and useless. And she has this shocking realization, you are just like me.
It's the moment she realizes that Penelope is the cunning one. She's the survivor.
The academic thesis I read calls this the reclamation of the feminine. Penelope isn't rejecting her mother anymore. She isn't trying to just escape and be a Bridgerton. She's accepting that the Featherington blood in her, that ruthlessness, that survival instinct, is part of her strength.
It's a perfect mirror scene. Portia used fraud to protect the family's future. Penelope used gossip to build her own.
They're 2 sides of the exact same coin. They both operated in the shadows because society gave them no other avenue to power. And when Portia touches Penelope's face, that moment of physical intimacy we almost never see from them, it's like a seal of approval. They are allies now.
Which is good, because Penelope is going to need all the allies she can get for the 3rd key scene. The butterfly ball speech.
The climax. Renovaccio in full effect.
Set the scene for us.
It's the final ball of the season. The queen is there. The entire ton is gathered. And Penelope Featherington, well, Bridgerton, now walks to the center of the room.
And visually, this is so striking. For her entire life, Penelope has been on the wall. She's in the corner. She's a wallflower. Here, the camera puts her dead center, completely isolated.
She is taking up space. She addresses the queen in the ton directly. But you have to listen very closely to what she actually says. Does she apologize for writing Whistledown?
No, not really. She apologizes for the deception, for the secret.
Correct. She apologizes for the hiding. She says, I wrote about you because I was captivated by you. She defends the work itself. She's essentially saying, I am a writer. This is my voice. She isn't promising to stop being clever. She's promising to stop being anonymous.
I noticed Colin's reaction here, too. Or maybe his lack of action.
That's a key observation that came up again and again in the fan threads. Colin stays back.
He doesn't rush to her side. He doesn't try to speak for her. He doesn't interrupt.
He lets her have the floor. And that is the perfect resolution to their conflict from the Modiste scene. He isn't standing in front of her to shield her from the queen's wrath. He is standing by her. He's on the sidelines watching her shine.
And you can see the pride on his face. It's like he finally truly gets it.
It validates his entire growth arc. He learned that loving her means letting her fight her own battles.
And the queen's reaction is the cherry on top. What is life without a little gossip?
That is the queen respecting the game. She realizes that Whistledown isn't some criminal. She was a worthy adversary. It's a truce between 2 incredibly powerful women who both understand the immense power of information in their world.
It is such a satisfying conclusion to that storyline, but getting there from a production standpoint sounds like it was absolute chaos.
Organized chaos, maybe? But yes, the behind-the-scenes details really highlight what a miracle it is that this episode came together so perfectly.
I was reading about Tom Verica, the director. He had a massive challenge with the shooting schedule.
Huge. Apparently, because of all the actor schedules and location logistics, they had to shoot this entire final emotional resolution in just 2 days.
Wait, 2 days for the wedding, the ball, the speech, the reconciliation, all of it.
And completely out of sequence.
That is the part that just blows my mind.
I mean, think about the acting challenge there. You're Nicola Coughlan or Luke Newton. 1 hour, you're filming a scene where you are furious, heartbroken, and you think your entire marriage is over. Then you hear, cut, change costumes. And an hour later, you're filming the happily ever after look of pure adoration at the ball.
You have to carry that entire emotional arc, all the anger, the fear, the forgiveness, the joy in your head, and just be able to access it completely randomly.
It explains why their off-screen friendship and chemistry needed to be so rock solid. They couldn't rely on the natural flow of the story day by day to get them there emotionally. They had to know exactly where their characters were at any given second.
And then on top of that, you have the butterfly effect.
This is one of my favorite little behind-the-scenes details. We all remember the visual of the butterflies at the ball. It's magical.
Right. It's the theme of the ball. The butterfly ball.
But on the set, they weren't there.
Wait, what do you mean? Like none of them were real?
Zero. Not a single one. The butterflies were 100% CGI added in post-production.
So when the entire cast is looking around in wonder at them.
They are looking at thin air. Tom Verica, the director, actually had to storyboard the flight paths of these imaginary bugs. He'd be standing there telling Polly Walker, okay, now look to your left, now look up to your right, now smile as the imaginary butterfly flies by your ear.
That is so awkward and hilarious.
It is. It's ridiculous. But it's a huge testament to the skill of the actors that they sold that sense of wonder. They made us believe the magic was in the room when it was really just a green screen and a director waving his hands around.
Let's talk about the look of the episode for a minute, specifically the costumes. John Glazer, the costume designer, really went for a huge narrative shift here.
Especially for Penelope. For 3 seasons, she's been in those harsh citrus colors. The bright yellows, the oranges, the garish greens, the Featherington color.
Which we know she hated.
Which she absolutely hated. But
Yeah,
for the
right.
butterfly ball, her big into the light moment, the dress is totally different. It's this deep midnight blue with soft pinks and greens.
It looked almost like a watercolor painting.
That was completely intentional. They layered organza over different colored fabrics to create this beautiful ombre effect. It's soft, it's romantic, it moves with her when she walks. It's the visual representation of her finally softening into her true self.
Now contrast that with what Cressida was wearing.
Oh, Cressida is the polar opposite. Her costumes in this episode were designed to look like armor.
Like with big shoulders.
Massive shoulders. Stiff, heavy fabrics. She's trying to make herself look bigger, tougher, more intimidating. But the designer noted that this armor actually highlights her fragility. She's wearing a fortress because she's absolutely terrified inside.
It's such good visual storytelling. You don't even need the dialogue to know that one woman is finally free and the other is more trapped than ever.
And speaking of storytelling without dialogue, the music choices were incredibly specific in this episode.
Bridgerton is famous for its instrumental pop covers, but these ones felt very, very pointed.
We had Yellow by Coldplay.
Which played during the wedding procession.
Ah.
And the lyrics, look at the stars, look how they shine for you.
It's perfect for Colin's perspective, isn't it? For all those years, Penelope was just there. She was in the background. Now she is the star. She is the celestial body that he is orbiting. He finally truly sees her.
And then at the ball, we got Lights by Ellie Goulding.
A very stripped-down, beautiful version. The lyric, "You show the lights that stop me turn to stone." It links directly to the episode title, Into the Light. It's all about the safety of being seen for who you truly are.
And we even got an original song for the first time, All I Want by Tori Kelly.
Which is a first for the series. And it was clearly chosen to emphasize that this season's love story was unique. It wasn't the enemies to lovers passion of season 2 or the forbidden love of season 1.
It was friends to lovers.
It was about a deep foundational connection that had to evolve and grow into something more.
I just love how much thought goes into every single one of these choices. And sometimes the best choices aren't even planned.
Are you thinking of the butterfly moment at the very end of her speech?
I am. So after Penelope's big speech, she's standing there and she just watches a single butterfly land on her finger.
It's the perfect, quiet little button to that massive scene.
But I read that it wasn't in the script at all.
Get out, really?
Seriously. According to Tom Verica, the director, Nicola Coughlan, just had an idea in the moment. She asked the showrunner, Jess Brownell, hey, can I just try something? And she just pantomimed the whole thing. She pretended a butterfly landed on her finger and then flew away.
That is a brilliant acting choice.
Yeah.
It's so delicate and meaningful.
And apparently the VFX team saw the footage in the edit and just said, well, I guess we have to put a butterfly there now.
It symbolizes the metamorphosis theme perfectly. Jess Brownell, the showrunner, she talked about this a lot. She said that season 3 is all about transforming in ways that are opposite to who they've been.
Shedding the chrysalis.
Exactly. The wallflower becomes the butterfly.
Yeah.
It's a little bit on the nose, maybe, But it works so beautifully for this kind of heightened romantic genre. It's the visual shorthand for her entire internal journey.
We also heard from the actors who play the Featheringtons about how they approach that big redemption arc scene.
Polly Walker and Nicola Coughlan.
They said they focused heavily on physical touch.
Which is so rare for that family. They're usually very stiff with each other, very separate.
But in that reconciliation scene, Portia reaches out and caresses Penelope's face. The actor said that was the signal. That was the moment the wicked stepmother trope died, and she just became a mother.
It grounds the melodrama. It reminds us that underneath all the ridiculous gowns and the scandal sheets, this is just a mother and a daughter trying to figure things out in a world that's against them.
Okay, now we have to talk about the fans. Because the internet has basically been acting as a collective detective agency for every frame of this episode.
The fan analysis is sometimes deeper than the show itself. It's incredible.
There's this sun and moon theory that was all over Reddit regarding the lighting that I found absolutely fascinating.
Oh, I saw this one. It's a real deep dive into the cinematography choices.
So the theory goes that in their intimate scenes together, Penelope is very often backlit by warm, golden, sun-like light.
Representing authenticity, warmth, her inner light.
Exactly, the truth. Meanwhile, Colin is often framed in cooler blue moonlight,
Which reflects his uncertainty, his confusion. And I mean, technically, the moon has no light of its own. It only reflects the light of the sun.
boom, there it is. So Colin is the satellite. He reflects Penelope's light back at her.
That fits the narrative of this episode perfectly. There's that one scene in the study.
Yes. The light is coming from the Featherington house, all the way across the street, and it's shining into the dark Bridgerton study.
So visually, Penelope's world is literally illuminating Colin's darker, brooding space. It's just brilliant. Whether it was 100% intentional or just a happy accident of the set design, it tells the story perfectly.
The fans also completely lost their minds over Francesca.
The Michaela reveal. We have to address it.
So Francesca meets John's cousin, who in this version is named Michaela Sterling.
And the reaction is, it's immediate,
She gets so flustered, she starts to stutter. She looks completely overwhelmed.
which stands in such stark contrast to her entire relationship with John. Violet, her mother, had just described Francesca's love for John as calm.
But this was not calm. This was a lightning strike.
Fans are interpreting this correctly, I think, as love at first sight. It introduces a queer romance storyline that's a significant deviation from the books, where the character is a man named Michael.
It hints at this tumultuous internal world for Francesca that we just haven't seen a hint of yet.
It challenges the idea that she's just the quiet one. It suggests that those still waters run very, very deep, and that some stormier waters are on the horizon for her.
There was also a bit of a debate online about Colin's role in this finale. Some reviews, I saw one on Show Snob, felt he was, well, sidelined.
The Colin was sideline debate. It's a fair critique, I think, if you're looking for a traditional hero arc. He doesn't fight a duel. He doesn't pay off the blackmailer. He basically just stands there while his wife handles everything.
Some people felt he resolved his anger way too quickly, or that he just took a back seat so Penelope could have her big girl boss moment at the end.
But there's a really strong counterview to that. Fangirlish argued that this was absolutely necessary for his growth.
How so?
Well, think about his character arc all season. His primary flaw was his deep insecurity, his desperate need to be the hero, to feel needed. If he had just swooped in and saved the day at the end, he wouldn't have learned a single thing. He would still be the same insecure boy.
So his sidelining was his growth.
Exactly. He had to learn to step back. He had to learn that he doesn't have to be the loudest voice in the room or the one with all the answers to be worthy of love. He had to learn how to be a partner, not a savior.
It's a much more modern take on the romantic hero, the supportive king.
And frankly, it's a much healthier dynamic for a marriage of equals, which is what they're building.
This brings us to the big picture then. So what does this all mean? Question. What are the big thematic takeaways from Into the Light?
I think there are two main questions this episode leaves us with. The first is about the self. Specifically, can you be loved for your shadow?
That goes right back to the Jungian idea from the beginning.
It does. Can you be loved for the parts of you that are messy or ambitious or even a little bit cruel? I mean, let's be honest, Penelope is not a perfect heroine. She ruined lives with that column. She hurt people.
She betrayed Colin's trust deeply.
She did. And the episode posits that true love isn't about ignoring those flaws. It's not pretending Whistledown didn't happen. It's loving the whole person because of those complexities.
Colin even admits it at one point, right? He says he was envious of her bravery, of her power.
He loves her because she is Whistledown, not in spite of it. He finally realizes that the thing that hurt him, her sharp writing, her wit, is also the very thing that makes her so brilliant. He integrates his image of her.
And the second big theme.
I think it's about female agency in a patriarchal world. We see 3 very distinct strategies for survival play out in this one episode.
Okay, let's break them down.
Strategy 1 is Portia Featherington. Her strategy is scheming and fraud. The do whatever it takes to survive approach. It works for a while, but it's exhausting, and it's all built on a foundation of sand.
Strategy 2 is Cressida Cowper.
Her strategy is blackmail and cruelty, trying to force the world to bend to your will through fear.
And that fails completely. It's too brittle, it shatters.
And then you have strategy 3, which is Penelope's. Authenticity, owning your voice, stepping into the light.
And that's the one that wins.
The episode leaves us with this powerful conclusion. Only authenticity is sustainable. You can scheme, you can bully, you can hide in the shadows, but eventually the truth is going to come out. So you might as well be the one to tell it on your own terms.
Stepping into the light is the only sustainable way to survive a society that is built on secrets.
Beautifully put. And it's why this finale feels so much more substantial than just another wedding episode. It's a thesis statement for the entire show.
Well, I think we have thoroughly unpacked Bridgerton Season 3, Episode 8. We stepped inside the story, and I think we found some real treasure.
We certainly did.
Thanks for listening to Pink Blade.
If this episode revealed something new,
You can follow to explore the next chapter.
and if a moment stayed with you,
You share it in the comments.
until next time.
This is Pink Blade.